There is a $39 flight on your screen right now, or there was. No meal, no recline, bag fees that cost more than the seat, and somehow every single time you booked it anyway. So did millions of other people. Now that airline is gone, and the most disturbing part is not that it ran out of money. It is that the money to save it existed, and nobody used it. Spirit Airlines did not collapse because people stopped flying. Passenger demand was up, planes were full. The yellow tail was still in the sky as recently as last week. It collapsed because it was carrying a debt load so heavy that no amount of full seats could lift it. Billions borrowed during the pandemic, bets placed on a recovery that came just not fast enough and not clean enough to matter. And then, just when a rescue was within reach, the people who could have grabbed it let it go. That is not a tragedy of bad luck. That is a choice, and somebody made it. Here is what the timeline actually looks like. Spirit filed for bankruptcy protection late last year. Not unusual for airlines, American, Delta, United all did it at some point. Bankruptcy is a tool. You restructure. You come back leaner. That was the plan. But Spirit's debt was not restructurable on normal terms. Bondholders, the institutional investors Spirit owed billions to, were not interested in a haircut. They wanted full recovery or nothing. And in that standoff, the airline's clock kept ticking. A $500 million rescue deal was assembled. Government-adjacent capital, a structured lifeline, a real exit from the spiral. It was on the table as recently as this week. The Trump administration signaled interest. Officials called it a final proposal. Bondholders said no. And here is the part that should make you pause. The people who said no will be fine. They will recover fractions on the dollar through liquidation proceedings, write off the loss, and move on. This is Tuesday for them. For Spirit, it is the end. For the 600 employees on a shift this morning, it is something else entirely. Now step back from the numbers for 1 second. Spirit was not a luxury product. It was not trying to be. It was the airline for the people every other carrier quietly does not design for, the ones who cannot spend $400 on a last-minute fare home, the ones for whom a $49 ticket to see their family was the only ticket that made sense. When airlines like Spirit disappear, fares on the routes they served go up. That is not speculation. That is documented every single time. So the person who actually loses is not a bondholder sitting in a boardroom. It is Mia, standing at a departure board, suitcase at her side, watching her flight blink out of existence. She did not make the debt. She just needed to get somewhere. The cheapest seat in the sky was never really about comfort. It was about who gets to go anywhere at all. If this story hit different, follow along, new episodes every week.